Welcome to the Sex and Astrology Podcast. I'm Brandy Joy, and I'm your host. We're talking 2024 horoscopes. This video is for Sagittarius. So if you are a Sagittarius rising, sun, or moon, you can listen to this one to get something out of it. All right, so Sagittarius, January 20th, we actually have Pluto going into Aquarius. You've probably heard. So this year, Pluto is finally really going to be getting into Aquarius energy, and that will be in your third house. So, Pluto is a transformative kind of energy, transformative kind of planet as it transits a house. So, it's going to be transiting your third house, and that is related to learning and skill development, communication, and also relationships with neighbors and siblings, and even extended family members. So Pluto will be in your third house for about 20 years, from 2024 to 2044. It was in your second house in from 2008 until 2020. All right. So this new energy, though, this new transformative energy over the next 20 years in your third house is going to be all about deep transformations in your communication style and the way that you express yourself and communicate. It could also be related to writing and publishing and putting yourself out there on social media. So you're going to go through a lot of self-discovery and just like learning in terms of verbal and written expressions. So that's going to be a big thing for you, especially if you are interested in maybe publishing or putting yourself out there in some way. And it's also a good time for you to develop skills and to study, to do research, and really get into, some educational things. So this is going to be a time where you could really start learning and growing and developing. Also, it's related to your relationships with your siblings and close relatives. So there could be shifts in your relationships with your family members and also just a deeper understanding of these connections. All right, so Pluto really helps you to understand things more and to really dive deeper into understanding them and also like transforms them, right? You'll end up with like endings and new beginnings and stuff, especially in terms of relationships and understanding yourself and your shadows. So there's also an aspect of the third house that has to do with uncovering hidden information. This could involve revelations in communication, family history, or discoveries related to your just like your neighborhood or your immediate environment. Right. So Pluto really will help you to uncover things and get secrets out, or just undisclosed information will come out. And in your third house, it could be related to any of your family members, like your siblings, cousins, relatives, and also neighborhoods. And revelations again in communication will be a very important topic. But the third house is a very mental kind of house. It's very mental, in terms of like its focus. So this transit, it could be about, intellectual pursuits again and investigative thinking. So, anyways, hopefully you enjoy this transit because Pluto can really help you to polish a house and make it better. So it transforms it and makes it better, right? So over the next 20 years, you're going to be working on this house. You're going to be, working in these areas of your life. You're going to be going through transformative kind of relationships, and you're going to get more wisdom in this area and everything. And then let's move on to Saturn. So Saturn is the teacher, right? Saturn is the teacher in the zodiac. So Saturn is in Pisces right now, and it went into Pisces back in March of 2023, and it will be there until May of 2025. Now, Pisces is your fourth house. So Saturn is in your fourth house during this time. And when Saturn is in the fourth house, it brings about a restructuring, lessons in the realm of home, family, and emotional foundations. For you, this is going to mean that it's gonna like encourage you to establish a more stable home base, because that's what Saturn likes, is stability. It likes discipline, responsibility, structure. It's very grounded kind of energy. So you're gonna notice that the focus will be a lot this year on you kind of establishing a good, firm home, maybe, and also your own emotional stuff, right? Your emotional stuff needs to be solidified and like worked on, maybe. So, anyways, the Saturn transit can also heighten your sense of responsibility with your family, because this is the house of family. It could be that you take on additional responsibilities with the family. It could be that you end up, addressing some issues that need to be resolved with the family. It could be that you will reevaluate your roles and your commitments within your family. Right. So there's a lot of development in terms of your emotions and your home and family life, and all of that is very tied together, because the way that we are emotionally usually has a lot to do with our family and our home environment. So this is going to encourage you to really handle your feelings, deal with your feelings, develop emotional resilience, meaning that if something happens, how easily do you bounce back? Or do you go into like a whole tailspin, right? An emotional tailspin. So Saturn will help you to kind of focus on that in a more structured and disciplined way, and to mature in that area. Right. So you're going to learn how to set healthy boundaries if that's something you need to do. It will help you to resolve unresolved emotional problems. And also, it can help you to really structure your emotional security in your life. So you may start reevaluating your approach to emotional support. Right. So maybe you'll decide, you know what, I need to get a therapist, or maybe I need to be more emotionally supportive with my family, even though I don't necessarily feel like it. So all of these things will come up. A lot of challenges and tests will come up in terms of Saturn teaching you how to be better in this area of your life. So again, family, emotions, and home. So let's move into the eclipses this year. So the eclipses are in Aries and Libra primarily right now. And in October of 2023, that just passed a few months ago, we had an eclipse in Libra, and that was in your 11th house. So this Libra eclipse that happened on October 14th of 2023, this Libra eclipse at 21 degrees was a new moon eclipse in your 11th house. And when this happens, when a new moon eclipse occurs in your 11th house, it can bring a lot of new beginnings and changes in the area of friendships, social networks, communities, long-term aspirations, and especially like your groups, right? So that's why it's like friendships and communities, it's your groups of people, your tribes, right? So you might have noticed that something came up in October in this area for you. And if it did, you're going to have a whole next chapter of this happening again in March and April of this year. Okay. So go back to October, look over it and go, all right, what happened in October? What was the theme? And it was likely related to your 11th house and your 5th house, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, but it was likely very related to your 11th house. So shifts in your social circles, shifts in your friends, and this can really, it can illuminate and bring realizations in this area. So it might have illuminated something you didn't know about a friend or friendships or some of your social connections or groups. And it can also prompt you to kind of reevaluate your personal goals in your life. And this can have an impact on your long-term life plans, you know. And there can also be just a good focus on community involvement and social activism. You might feel very compelled to contribute to group initiatives or advocacy and things like that with the 11th house. And also, the final thing is it can encourage like just a personal transformation through the collective. So you might find a lot of self-discovery through your group interactions, and that can help you to figure out like your role within larger communities, right? So this is like a very like this is a house of like groups and stuff. So think about your groups. Think about, are you not just friendship groups, but this can be groups that you're a part of in your community, even online groups and everything. It could be associations, organizations you're a part of, anything. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the March 25th. You have an eclipse happening in that same house as what happened in October. Okay, so it's going to be a new chapter, a next chapter of your 11th house of groups and partnership, well, friendships and aspirations, right? So March 25th, 2024, you're going to have a culmination of whatever's going on in that theme of your life. And it will be at Libra 5 degrees in your 11th house. And that would be a full moon eclipse happening on March 25th. And then right after that, in April, on April 8th, you're having another eclipse happen in your 5th house. Your 5th house will be Aries 19 degrees, new moon eclipse happening in your 5th house. And with an eclipse happening in your 5th house, it really brings a lot of transformative energies to the realm of creativity and children and self-expression and joy and romance, right? This is the house, I call it the house of creativity and joy. It has to do with your children. It has to do with things you create. You create children, right? It has to do with your creative expression. So this eclipse in the 5th house coming up in April, you might have a period of like inspiration during this time because the eclipses will like illuminate and they will inspire and they will bring things to the forefront for you. So if you've been thinking about doing an artistic project, or maybe you're artistic or creative in some way, this might really be a time where you see a shift there. Right? And also, you could see a shift in your romantic relationships. This could be like a new chapter in your romantic life. It could be a time where you're deepening existing connections. It could also be a time when you end relationships as well. That's a big thing with eclipses also. So think about what you are involved with right now, what people you're involved with or what people you want to be involved with. And if you're in like a partnership, then, it can bring up some of the issues of joy and romance related to that area of your life. Definitely a very relationshipy house. So whether it's your children or romantic partners, the eclipse will bring things to light if they need to come to light. But anyways, let's move on into the next cycle of eclipses, the next season, which will be September and October of 2024 coming up. All right, so September 17th, 2024, we have a full moon eclipse happening in your 4th house. It will be Pisces 25 degrees. And so in the 4th house with an eclipse, right, this is going to bring a lot of transformative energies in the realm of home, family, emotional foundations, and inner security. So just like we were already talking about a few minutes ago, the 4th house, your home environment, your family environment, you're going to have an eclipse there. Right. So this eclipse is really going to shake things up in that area. If they need to be shaken up, if something needs to come to light, it will come to light. It can involve, anything from like renovations of the home, change in residence, change in the family structure. All of a sudden somebody's pregnant. Right. The eclipse prompts a lot of renewal, though, a lot of illumination. And there may be shifts again in, the family dynamics, but it also could be just a shift inside of you where, you might have had some emotional stuff happening and it needs to come to light, right? And that could be like an issue. After the September 17th eclipse, we have one on October 2nd of 2024, October 2nd, and that will be Libra 4 degrees. New moon, new beginnings eclipse in your 11th house again, another chapter in your 11th house. And that will just be back with the group dynamics, aspirations in your life, communities, groups, associations. So again, you're going to see just another chapter illuminated in that area of your life. And that brings us to the end of the year. Before we get into, I want to talk about a really positive aspect for you in a few minutes. But before I do, I want to mention one last challenging aspect, and that will be at the end of the year, Mars retrograde. So Mars is the planet of your power. It's the planet of power. It's the planet of being assertive and dynamic and taking control of your life. And Mars will be retrograde from December 6th until February 23rd. So when Mars retrogrades, it causes agitation. So you'll probably notice during these 3 months that people are a little bit more reactive, a little bit more agitated. And if things blow up between people during this time, man, it'll go on and on. Instead of just like being a quick thing where we fix it, it'll be one of those things that kind of drags out during a Mars retrograde. This will be happening in Cancer and Leo energy. And for you, it will be in your 8th and 9th house. So when Mars goes in retrogrades in the 8th house, which is associated with emotional bonds, our intimate connections, our shared resources and finances. When Mars retrogrades in this house, it brings us issues of trust, issues in intimacy, and joint financial matters to a head. So it's time to reevaluate the intensity of our connections and see if, something needs to be changed or fixed here. And it will definitely be something. See, people have a hard time not saying something with Mars in that house about that topic or in that area of their life. And so when Mars is retrograding in that area, in that 8th house of your deep emotional connections with people, like the people that you have sexual relationships with or shared finances with, that could be a time when you end up like reevaluating that area and maybe even getting into some tense kind of conversations or conflicts in that area. So just be aware of that. And then also it will be in your 9th house retrograding as well during this time, which means that you'll be assessing like your philosophies, your beliefs in life. It can make you really question your philosophies and your beliefs in life and your faith in life. So yeah, it's pretty intense when it goes through your 8th and 9th house. You're going to have a very intense time at the end of the year. And, this retrograde is a time to reflect. So it'll make you reflect on anything that has to do with 9th house matters like higher education, like your educational pursuits. Maybe you'll start thinking about maybe going back to school or learning something new, changing a course of study, even if you are in some school already. You can also have delayed travel plans during this time. Obstacles and delays can happen with your travel plans because the 9th house has to do with travel, long-term travel, long distance. So you could have some disruptions or changes in your arrangements. And finally, spiritual stuff. So cultural and spiritual practices could be something that you start really reevaluating and exploring. You might dive into like a new tradition or explore a new belief system or something during a Mars retrograde, because Mars is like action and then it's retrograding. So it's making you reevaluate places where you're taking action in this area. Also, the 9th house has to do with legal matters. So it could make you reevaluate any legal issues. There could be some ongoing cases that you're dealing with that finally come up and are really getting under scrutiny. Could be something to do with contracts even and stuff like that. Okay, let's talk about the positive. So finally, let's talk about Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus has been in Taurus. It goes through a sign in about 7 years, right? So it's been in Taurus for about 5 years. So that means it's been in your 6th house for about 5 years. And the 6th house has to do with work, has to do with your daily habits, your mental and physical health, okay, your service to others. So Uranus has already been going through this house for you. And what that does is it provides like illumination and like sudden opportunities and sudden developments and sudden unexpected things and like shocks to the system in that house. So, it can definitely make you realize and awaken in that house. So you might be working with things in terms of your mental or physical health. or it could be awakening you in terms of your healing and service to others. Also, it could be helping you in your work life and daily habits. All right. But since August 28th of 2023, Uranus has been retrograde in that house, which means that you've probably felt a little bit stagnation in your sixth house since August. And that stagnation, it makes you feel stuck, right, in that area. It's like it's not really moving anymore. But now, January 27th, Uranus is finally going to get unstuck and move direct, right? So as Uranus starts to finally move direct, you're going to see a little bit of a lightening up, moving forward in your sixth house of, work, mental health, physical health, and health in general, right? Routines, daily routines. And in April, I have some good news for you because Jupiter has also started going this past May, started going through your sixth house. And Jupiter brings expansion and opportunities and luck to wherever it transits. And so from May of 2023 until May of 2024, Jupiter is going through your 10th, or sorry, your sixth house. And so as it's going through your sixth house, it's going to come in conjunct and join with Uranus. So when Jupiter is conjunct Uranus in your sixth house, it can make unexpected developments happen in the realms of work and career, in the realms of your health and your daily routines, and also your service to others path. Okay. So this is good. This is luck. This is opportunity. And so you might all of a sudden, be able to use like a new technology at work. And it's like, oh, this is cool. This is helpful. This makes it easier. It could bring like a sense of excitement or liberation in your professional life. It could bring unexpected opportunities to you and breakthroughs in terms of your productivity and your well-being and your day-to-day activities. So this is like good stuff, right? This is expansion and opportunity and luck for you, especially all through April, because they're going to join together on April 20th and 21st. But all of April, they'll be riding together. And so they'll be really affecting you in a good way. They'll be giving you opportunities in your sixth house. So this can be really good for, uh, getting opportunities for your health, getting opportunities for your wellness, exploring alternative health practices, adopting new wellness routines, finding something that can help you health-wise all of the sudden, or something that you can help others with if you're like a healer or something like that. But it can also give sudden shifts in your professional environment, and exciting new projects can come your way. Unexpected positive changes can happen for you in your career. So that's always a really good thing too. All right. So I hope that leaves you with some good, fun types of energy for the year. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget that I have a wonderful love and sex guide for astrologers out there. It helps you to understand love and sex and astrology and your intimate relationships. It's a free ebook I have on my website at brandyjoy.com. So if you do want to check that out, you can go download it for free. And I hope to see you next week. I'm going to be putting out new episodes every week. So I hope to see you again next week. Thanks so much, and see you soon.